Hello and welcome to another cab ride video on the Dadrail YouTube channel. Today's journey comes courtesy of a Class 59 locomotive hauling loaded hopper wagons weighing in excess of 2,000 tonnes. A huge thanks goes out to my video contributor Loco CL66 for allowing me to use this footage. Our train today has travelled along the Great Western Main Line from the Mendip Quarries and it is bound for the aggregates terminal at Purley in Surrey. Journey today takes us from Acton depot on the Great Western Main Line to Herne Hill. Part 2 will feature Herne Hill to Purley. Departing Acton Yard, our train turns away from the Great Western Lines and heads towards Acton Junction. We then pass under the North London lines just outside Willesden and follow the West London line through Kensington Olympia. Our train then negotiates the busy junctions at Latchmere and Hedge before joining the Southeastern Mainlines at Wandsworth Road and finally onto Herne Hill. Departing Acton Yard, Acton Mainline Station and the Great Western Main Line are to our right. We join the Up Poplar lines, a vital freight connection that allows trains from the Western region to access north, south and east of the country. We pass under the A40 as our train turns away from the Great Western Lines. The lines to our right continue to London Paddington. Signalling changes from Thames Valley Signalling Centre to Acton Wells as we approach Alpha Whiskey 146 signal. Position 2 route indicator tells our driver that our train is bound for the Up Southwest line. Passing over Acton Junction, we briefly join the North London lines. The lines to our right serve London Overground services to Richmond, as well as freight trains heading for the southwestern region. The North London lines continue to our right and head towards Willesden Junction. To our left, the so-called Dudding Hill lines head towards Acton Canal Wharf and allow freight trains access to the northbound West Coast Main Line, as well as the Chiltern and Midland Main Lines. A freight-only branch, the line is still signalled using the absolute block method with semaphore signals. The south-west lines that we are now passing over see many freight trains per day. The lines can be worked permissively, meaning multiple trains can be in a single signal section at a time. This allows for greater capacity and means that trains can be moved clear of the junctions at either end of the line, even when the line ahead is occupied. Signalling of our train is now transferred to Wembley Central. UW in the theatre box indicates to our driver that we are bound for the Up West London line. The aforementioned North London lines now pass overhead. The lines immediately to our left join us from Willesden Euroterminal and Acton Lane reception roads. To our far left we have the West Coast Main Line, with Euston being towards our direction of travel. Turning away from the West Coast Main Line, we continue on the Up West London line. The lines to our right as we pass over Bridge Junction join us from Willesden Junction and are used by London Overground services as well as freight traffic heading towards the North London lines and beyond. Bridge itself takes us across the Grand Union Canal and the Great Western Main Line. The bridge marks the summit of the steep Bridge bank. The gradient is one of the steepest in the country, and even modern freight locomotives with heavy trains can struggle to reach the summit. To aid drivers, heavy trains are often held at Kensington Olympia until a clear run of green signals can be guaranteed, giving the train a bit of a run up and no reason to stop. A rare treat, Mayflower steam locomotive working a charter service from Waterloo to Windsor. The Class 47 locomotive on the rear helps to bank the train up the steep incline. North Pole turnback siding joins from our left. The facility, as the name implies, is used to turn back late running trains as well as during degraded working. The West London line is fully bidirectional, meaning trains can run in either direction on each line. The crossovers here facilitate swapping of lines when bidirectional running is in operation. Passing under the A40 Westway, the 25,000 volt AC overhead wires give way to the 750 volt DC Southern Region third rail system. The third rail starts just north of the North Pole turnback siding. Both systems run together for around half a mile, allowing drivers to switch between power modes on the move where units allow. London Underground, Circle and Hammersmith and City lines pass overhead. Wood Lane Station is to our right and Latimer Road to our left. Shepherd's Bush is the first station on our route so far. The station opened in 2008, a year later than planned after remedial works to rectify issues with the platform widths. The station sits on the site of the 1869 Uxbridge Road station. Uxbridge Road was closed in 1940 after suffering severe damage during the war. With its 3 platforms, Kensington Olympia is served by National Rail Services and London Underground's District Line. The shed to our right was used for motor rail services from 1966, with services withdrawn in 1981. Interestingly, during the 1960s Cold War plans, Kensington was to be an evacuation point for civil servants to leave the city and head to the safety of the government bunker near Corsham. Officially known as Earls Court Tunnel, the structure above us was one of the main support structures for the Earls Court 2 Exhibition Centre. The area was earmarked for redevelopment and demolition of the centre started in 2014. With its 4 platforms, West Brompton is another station on our route that is served by London Underground's District Line, albeit a different branch to Kensington Olympia. Stamford Bridge comes into view on our right hand side, home of Chelsea Football Club. Sandwiched between the two bridges, the remains of Chelsea and Fulham Station. Opened as Chelsea with the line in 1863, the station was very popular, especially with football fans heading for the nearby Chelsea Football Club. The station was closed during World War II, and despite only suffering limited damage, it never reopened. Our driver applies the power to pull the heavy train up the bank towards Imperial Wharf. Imperial Wharf Station is the newest station on the line, opening in 2009 to serve the affluent Chelsea Harbour development. The cost of the station was estimated to be £3 million, but in true style ended up costing more than double at £7.8 million. The costs were part funded by the housing developer, local authorities and Transport for London. We cross the River Thames, courtesy of the Battersea Railway Bridge. The bridge itself is known by several different names, including Chelsea Harbour Bridge and the Creanmorn Bridge. Latchmere No. 2 junction diverges to our right and gives access to the Windsor Line platforms at Clapham Junction. Here, at Latchmere No. 1 junction, the West London lines continue to our right towards Clapham Junction platform 17, where they join the Brighton Slow lines. Our train is now on the Up Kensington line. The junctions here and the West London line in general see many freight trains, as can be seen. Latchmere No. 3 junction is a relatively new addition and runs via the so-called Sheepscote Curve to join the London-bound South Western lines towards Waterloo. It was installed to allow Eurostar services to run between the then terminal at Waterloo and the former depot at North Pole. We pass under the Southwestern and Southern Main lines. The latter we will pass under a total of 3 times as the lines snake their way around. The Ludgate lines run parallel to us on our right. These lines take trains under the tracks at Clapham and emerge on the Windsor side of the station. Brighton main line passes overhead for a second time. Victor Sierra 78 marks the start of control by Victoria Eastern Area Signalling Centre. Control up to this point from Mitre Bridge has been under the jurisdiction of Victoria Central. Position 4 route indicator indicates we are bound for the Up Ludgate line. Here at Hedge Junction, the Kensington and Ludgate lines merge together. The lines to our left join us from Pope Arts Junction, just north of Clapham on the Brighton Fast lines. We pass under the Southern Main Line for the third and final time. The single line straight ahead gives access to Battersea Yard, Stewart's Lane Depot and routes towards London Victoria. The aforementioned Battersea Yard can be seen below us. As we pass under the Battersea lines, Stewart's Lane Depot can be seen ahead of us. The Battersea lines used to allow access from Wandsworth Road to London Victoria via Battersea Park. These days, buffer stops at Battersea Park prevent trains from continuing to Victoria. The line is only used by a handful of trains a week. Our train joins the Down Atlantic lines here at Factory Junction. The lines to our left are the Chatham main lines from London Victoria. To our right, the Battersea lines join us. Wandsworth Road was opened as part of the original route to London Victoria by the London, Chatham and Dover Railway Company in 1863. Curiously, the station's footbridge is second-hand and was moved here in 1988 from Mitcham. Voltaire Road Junction facilitates crossing between the Atlantic and Chatham lines. Opened in 1862, we pass through Clapham High Street. The station has had a number of names, including Clapham and North Stockwell. The station's current name was granted in 1989. Position 1 junction indicator here at Shepherd's Lane Junction informs our driver that the train is to leave the Atlantic lines and join the Down Chatham Main. The Atlantic lines veer off to our right and continue towards Denmark Hill and Peckham Rye. Here, at Brixton Junction, the Catford Loop lines diverge to our left. The lines head towards Canterbury Road Junction, where access is enabled to the Holborn lines towards Elephant and Castle and Blackfriars. Without diverging at Canterbury Road, the Catford lines run parallel to the Atlantics through Denmark Hill. We pass under the Atlantic lines as our train starts to climb here at Brixton. As we near the end of our journey here at Herne Hill, we can see the Holborn lines joining from our left, having come from Elephant and Castle and London Blackfriars. Thank you very much for joining us for part 1 of this trip. Part 2 takes us via Tulse Hill, Streatham and East Croydon to the aggregates terminal at Purley, and I will link that in the description below. Don't forget, if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this, as well as my train sim and train driver vlog videos.